Listening at C2 level can be pretty challenging because of the complexity of the texts that you have to listen to, but also because of the different accents that the speakers have, and because there might be some very specific language that is related to a certain topic. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what you have to do in each of the individual listening tasks and give you some practical suggestions for how you can improve your listening skills. At C2 level, there are 4 listening tasks, and for each correct answer, you get 1 mark. But you get to listen to each recording twice. So let's take a quick look at what you have to do in each task. In part 1, there are 3 separate extracts that you listen to, and connected to each extract there are 2 different questions. These are multiple choice questions where you need to choose the correct answer, A, B, or C. Now, the 2 questions that you get will focus on different aspects of the recording. So for example, the first question might focus more on identifying an opinion. So you need to listen for expressions of agreement or disagreement. Whereas the second question might focus more on a specific detail that's mentioned during the recording. It's important to remember here that the words that you hear in the recording won't be the same as what is written in the question. In part 2, you listen to a monologue, which is normally part of a lecture or a radio program. While you listen, you need to complete a text which summarizes the main points of the recording. But in this text, there are 9 gaps. So your task is to complete these gaps with a word or a short phrase. Now, the word or the short phrase that you need to complete the gap is exactly what you hear in the recording, but the sentences in the text that you are given are slightly different to the sentences that you will hear. So these sentences guide you, but you need to listen and read carefully what comes before and after the gap to make sure that the words that you put in the gap fit the context and make sense. The order of information of the text matches what you will hear, but you need to make sure that you spell the words correctly in order to get the mark. In part 3, you hear part of an interview or discussion between 2 or more speakers, and you then have 5 multiple choice questions where you need to choose the correct answer, A, B, or C. Here, you're being tested on your ability to listen for the opinion, specific attitudes or ideas, but also the inferred meaning that the speakers give. Here, the information and the question follow the same order, but it's really important to listen for words or phrases that mark the change in topic. The key to this is listening for the implied meanings that the speakers give, because often the answer lies not in what they say directly, but what they say indirectly. Task 4 is the final part of the listening, but it's perhaps the most challenging, not because what you listen to is at a higher level, but because you have to complete 2 tasks simultaneously. Here there are 5 monologues from different speakers, but they're speaking about the same or a very similar topic. You then have task 1, which focuses on one aspect of what each speaker says, and task 2, which focuses on a slightly different aspect. Let's say the topic is travel. For task 1, you might get a question like, what reason did the speaker choose for going on holiday? Your task 2 question might be something like, what problem did the speaker encounter while on holiday? For each speaker, you need to choose the correct answer from 8 possible options in task 1 and the correct answer from 8 possible options in task 2. Now remember, you will hear the recording twice, so it's possible to do the task 1 questions on your first listen and the task 2 questions on your second listen. But a lot of students have told me that they prefer to do task 1 and 2 for each speaker before moving on. that means the second time that they listen, they can listen for things that they might have missed and also check their answers. Now, in this task, things are made a little bit more challenging because sometimes the information for task 2 is given before the information for task 1. So you need to be very careful to listen for the specific information that you need to answer the question. So, what can you do to actually improve your listening skills? Well, one of the key things to do is listen regularly to a range of different recordings in English. And one of the best ways to do this is through podcasts. So, podcasts are basically digital audio recordings that can be found online. And two of the main places to get access to these is via Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And the best thing is that you can listen to a range of topics, and I'm sure there's something out there that you will find interesting to listen to. Now, you can listen while you're doing other things, going for a walk, maybe cleaning, doing chores around the house, but it's also important to listen actively and take notes on the opinions that are given, the attitudes of the speakers, the ideas that they use, and also the vocabulary. By summarizing what you hear and making notes like this will help you to be able to listen and collect the information that you need to answer C2 level listening tasks. Okay guys, thanks for watching to the end of this video. If you found it useful, please give it a like and subscribe, and also maybe share it with a friend who's working towards the C2 exam if you think that this would be useful for them. Stay tuned for the next video in this series, and I'll see you next time.